something I've been reflecting on in our marriage is how I do not vent about David. I do not. Like, I don't call somebody up and say, like a friend of mine, like, I'm so upset because David did this and this, and this is how I feel, and it's his fault or whatever, like along those lines. Now, I might feel those things, but I don't go and just spew my feelings out. Mm-hmm. I mean, I refer to you as my best friend outside my marriage, and I don't, even to you as my best friend, I do not vomit emotionally about David. Yeah, let's be clear. Yeah. I do vent to a limited amount of people, but not about David ever. Mm-hmm. And instead, when I had those feelings and they're bubbling up and I need to express them, I take them to the Lord. Mm-hmm. In fact, the other day I was like in the garage speaking aloud to God, like, blah, 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 but like in words. And I was looking at our van and I was like, where could I drive away from this place to make such a statement about how upset I feel? And instead I went back inside and did the dishes. But loudly though, like with the clanging.
Like forcefully washing them.
I did.
Yeah. This will show them.
I'm like, here's your act of service love language.
Yeah, like if I break it, I don't have to wash it.
Oh, yeah. But I remember like looking at my wedding ring and, there's this moment. Okay, so my wedding ring was also my promise ring, my chastity ring that my dad gave me when I was 14. So I made this promise to my dad to save my virginity for my future husband someday if God was calling me to the sacrament of marriage. And when my dad gave me this gift, he wrote this letter for me, which, I've shared about many times in our book and in different talks. But he said, there will come a time when temptation seems to be the only thing that surrounds you. In that moment, let this ring be a gentle reminder to pray for God's wisdom and grace. Mm-hmm. And remember that I always love you. Mm-hmm. And so I never reached that moment. Like I always knew, hold on. Before we got married, I never really reached that moment where I felt like temptation was the only thing that was around me. I kind of like had this sense like, I'll know, like when that moment comes, I'll know, right? And I'm going to have this ring and it's going to be a reminder, it's going to be the moment of truth. But like that juncture never came before we were married. Turns out though, that this is the same ring that my dad gave me. It's just like we enhanced it. Like this is now it's like the diamond from my grandma's engagement ring that they saved for me, and like there's more gold around it, but it's the same sapphires. It includes the same gold that my dad gave me for my promise ring. And so I remember looking at it and thinking, what if that moment of truth comes after we're married? Like that makes me nervous also. And I remember that it did, like after we were married. And it's happened a number of times, including the other night when I was just upset, and it seemed like temptation was the only thing around me, like the temptation to leave, not necessarily to just get in our minivan and drive away, because that's not glamorous. I would have like called a Lyft and taken a plane, but no, but like it was about leaving in my heart. Like the temptation was to separate in my heart, like to turn away and to not keep the communication open, to vent to somebody else, to withdraw my heart. And so I just love that verse about how God hates divorce. So be careful with your spirit. Because like, isn't that where it starts? Like in the heart, in your spirit, if you're going to either stay in love, as you said, like it's embarrassing because it's humiliating in the good sense, right? Like it keeps you humble to stay in love, to choose to stay.